There are days when you wake up and feel nothing, no spark, no drive, no reason that pulls you forward. The goals you once felt excited about start to feel heavy, almost meaningless. You try to motivate yourself with quick bursts of energy, but they fade as fast as they come. That's because motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. Discipline doesn't. Discipline is the quiet force that keeps you moving when your emotions can't. It's what makes you show up when the excitement is gone, when no one's watching, when quitting would be easier. Have you ever noticed how the strongest people aren't the loudest? They're the ones who keep going, even when no one applauds? This video is about that kind of strength, the steady kind, the kind that turns small, consistent effort into unstoppable growth. Motivation feels incredible when it's there, the rush of energy, the clear focus, the belief that you can do anything. But the truth is, motivation is built on emotion, and emotions shift like weather. One day you feel unstoppable, and the next, you can't even take the first step. That doesn't mean you failed, it means you're human. The mistake most people make is thinking motivation is the key to success, when it's actually just the spark. The real engine that drives lasting growth is discipline, the quiet, steady decision to keep moving when you don't feel like it. When you build discipline, you stop relying on temporary feelings and start relying on your values. You begin to understand that real strength is doing the right thing even when it's hard. Acting through the lack of motivation becomes your superpower because every time you do, you strengthen your self-control and peace. You no longer chase energy, you create it. And with time, you realize that discipline doesn't suppress emotion, it stabilizes it. It allows you to stay balanced, productive, and grounded even when life feels uncertain or uninspiring. Discipline is not the opposite of motivation, it's what sustains it. Think of it as a muscle that grows each time you show up when you don't want to. Motivation can start your journey, but discipline ensures you arrive. It's what keeps an artist painting, a student studying, and a leader leading long after the excitement fades. Many people quit not because they lack potential but because they depend solely on bursts of energy that never last. The truth is, discipline doesn't wait for perfect timing, it builds progress through small, repetitive actions. Each time you follow through on your plan, no matter how small the step, you train your mind to stay focused and your heart to stay committed. Discipline teaches you to value consistency over emotion and effort over excuses. It builds resilience by proving that you can act in alignment with your goals even when the mind resists. And that quiet consistency becomes your inner peace, because once you trust yourself to show up, you no longer fear losing momentum. When your life lacks routine, everything feels heavier, your mind races, your time slips away, and even small tasks start to feel overwhelming. Discipline thrives in structure, not chaos. When you build clear routines, you create mental space for focus and calm. A routine isn't a prison, it's freedom disguised as order. It frees you from constant decision fatigue, what to do, when to start, how to continue. When you decide once and act daily, discipline becomes automatic. Even something as simple as setting a morning rhythm, stretching, reflecting, working, reminds your mind that progress is not random, it's repeated. Over time, these consistent acts carve stability into your life. A strong routine also brings emotional security. It gives you something to rely on when everything else feels uncertain. You no longer depend on external motivation because your structure itself becomes a source of peace. You trust the process instead of chasing control. And that trust is what makes real growth feel calm, not frantic. Resilience doesn't come from never falling, it comes from learning how to stand again and again. Discipline is the silent teacher of resilience. It trains you to keep showing up when comfort disappears, when results are delayed, and when no one is watching. Failure doesn't destroy a disciplined person because they've learned to separate mistakes from identity. They see failure as feedback, information to adjust, not a verdict to quit. Life will test your focus with setbacks, doubt, and emotional fatigue, but discipline turns those moments into training grounds. Each time you persist through resistance, you strengthen mental endurance and emotional balance. The more you practice patience and self-control, the less reactive you become to life's unpredictability. You stop chasing instant wins and start valuing long-term strength. This quiet endurance doesn't just build success, it builds character, calm, and deep self-respect that can't be shaken by failure. One of the most peaceful feelings in life comes from knowing you're moving forward, even slowly. Discipline brings that kind of peace because it replaces chaos with predictability. When you have a rhythm, you no longer wake up in confusion wondering where your energy should go. Discipline allows you to focus your attention on what truly matters instead of being pulled in 100 directions by distractions or moods. Predictable progress doesn't mean boring repetition, it means reliable growth. It means trusting the process instead of demanding instant results. Every consistent action, no matter how small, builds momentum, and momentum becomes confidence. When you know you've shown up today, yesterday, and the day before, you no longer question whether you can do it tomorrow. Discipline gives you control without obsession, effort without anxiety. It silences the voice that says, "You're not doing enough," because you know your pace and purpose are aligned. In that rhythm, peace replaces pressure, and progress becomes your daily companion. There will come a time when motivation disappears completely, when everything feels dull or meaningless. That's when your why becomes your compass. Motivation pulls you forward, but purpose pulls you through. Without a strong reason, even success will feel empty because effort loses direction. Your why gives weight to your discipline. It transforms hard work into meaningful work. It could be faith, family, self-growth, or serving others, whatever reminds you of something bigger than yourself. The clearer your purpose, the less you rely on emotions to act. When your why is rooted in values, not outcomes, you stay grounded even when things go wrong. Purpose fuels endurance because it reminds you that the struggle has meaning. And once you align discipline with purpose, your actions stop feeling like obligations and start feeling like expressions of who you are. Success is not about intensity, it's about consistency. Most people overestimate what they can do in a week and underestimate what they can do in a year. Discipline is what bridges that gap. It transforms small, repetitive actions into life-changing results. The power of discipline lies in its quiet repetition, the daily habits that seem insignificant but compound over time. Waking up early, finishing what you start, choosing focus over distraction, these small acts are the seeds of transformation. You won't always see the results immediately, but with time, discipline builds a foundation so strong that no setback can erase it. When you stay consistent, your progress becomes self-sustaining. The work starts to work for you. Consistency doesn't mean perfection, it means persistence. Even when you miss a step, you return the next day without guilt or drama. And that steady return, day after day, is what creates real growth, not because it's easy, but because it's grounded in purpose and patience. Discipline, at its core, is a form of self-respect. It's telling yourself, "I'm worth the effort." When you commit to discipline, you stop negotiating your standards with excuses or emotions. You no longer let temporary feelings dictate permanent outcomes. It's not about being harsh or robotic, it's about honoring your goals enough to protect them from your weaker moments. Discipline strengthens character by aligning your actions with your values. You start living with integrity, doing what's right even when no one is watching. This alignment creates peace, not pressure. It's the calm that comes from knowing you are in control of yourself, no matter what life throws your way. Over time, this self-respect radiates through every part of your life, in your work, your relationships, and your inner dialogue. Discipline becomes your proof of self-love, your quiet declaration that you are building something meaningful, one choice at a time. When motivation fades, and it will, discipline will carry you through. Remember, motivation is a feeling, but discipline is a choice. It's how you build habits, shape your mindset, and live with peace and purpose. So take a breath, refocus, and show up, not because you feel like it, but because you deserve the life that consistency creates. Share your thoughts below. How are you building your discipline today?